be. We will now call to order the Legislation Committee for November 17th, 2021. Sharita, please call the roll.
Alderman Boyd. Alderwoman Davis.
Present.
Alderman Vaccaro. Alderman Coder.
Here.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Muhammad.
Here.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Here.
Alderwoman Martin.
Here.
Alderwoman Navarro. Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Present.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Chairman Vollmer.
Present.
President Reed. 7 present, you have quorum.
Here.
Thank you. 8
All
present,
right.
you have quorum.
Thank you, Sharita. We will, thank you. We'll currently move to approve the minutes we have minutes for November 16th, 2021 to approve.
So moved.
Okay, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second, please.
Excuse me, Chairman Vollmer.
Yes.
That was the minutes for the 13th, the 15th, and the 16th.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting punch drunk over here. So please remove your motion.
It's been removed.
Okay.
I'll just amend it. 13th, the 15th, and the 16th. Is that what it was?
That's
Correct.
correct.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a second.
Second.
Okay, Sharita, please call the roll.
Alderman Boyd. Alderwoman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Vaccaro. Alderman Coder.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Muhammad.
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Aye.
Alderwoman Martin.
Aye.
Alderwoman Navarro. Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Chairman Vollmer.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye.
8 aye votes.
All right, thank you. With your vote, we have approved the minutes from November 13th, 15th, and 16th. We'll now move on to the situation at hand, which is again the redistricting bill. We will first start with a few comments. So we have continued to use the portal, and with as much the latest, and I think has come through. We had a request from a Mr. Gregory Eicherman in the 300 block of North Grand, a 19th Ward resident who is blind, visually impaired, and he requested that we would put the map into a text file. He says it'll be very helpful for visually impaired people, and we have done that as of today. So, Mr. Eicherman, if you are watching, we do have, I'm sorry, if you're with us, we do have that available in a text file for visually impaired people. Again, thank you. Using these suggestions that we get has been helping this process the whole way. And I continue to appreciate all the input we get from everyone, the members of the committee, non-members of the committee, and our constituents. With that, we are still, we mentioned we are trying to work a few little items out, which I believe a couple of them are working out. Some we're still crunching numbers on. The Kings Oak situation looks like it's moving in a positive way. The Southwest Garden Neighborhood Association is a little more complex, but we're working on that. And the downtown west, I know there's many of you, chiming in about that, but the amount of people, the legal parameters we're under, and trying to make it work. And we've been trying every which way to make this situation work so it passes muster. It's still under consideration, but some of the suggestions and things that are being asked of, some are unfortunately just not making it with what we have to meet legally. But we're still working on that, and we want to let you know that we are reading and listening to all the comments we get. Mr. President, do you have anything to add before? Because today's purpose of the meeting is to have non-members of the committee get their 5 minutes each to chime in and let us know their thoughts on the process so far.
No, I'm No, thank you. You've covered it all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. And what I'm trying to see, because I know we necessarily should be doing this by seniority. So I'm trying to see what we have here. We have Alderman Rice, Alderman Page, Alderman Gunther, Alderwoman Schweitzer, Alderman Peel, and Alderwoman Spencer here to speak. I believe off the top of my head, because I don't have the seniority list in front of me, that Alderwoman Spencer is the most senior. Is that correct?
I would
All
think.
right. And if we mix it up, don't take it personally after that. But we'll come as close as we can. I don't have the seniority list in front of me. Alderman Spencer, are you with us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wasn't prepared to speak right away, so if you could
Okay.
circle back to me, it would be
You
helpful.
can defer. You can defer your seniority. No worries.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'm trying to, you know the job, trying to keep everybody happy never works.
I'd chime in
All
on
right.
that. Like,
Okay, so after that, it would be Alderman Gunther. You're next in line, I believe. Sharita, thank you for the help. Alderman Gunther.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is my mic working?
Yes, we
right.
can hear you. Can
right,
we see you,
wonderful.
sir? Yeah, we can see you now.
Yeah.
Remember,
All
you
right.
have to, you have to be seen. Make sure no one's impersonating you.
I'm here.
Okay, you let me know when you're ready. We'll give you 5 minutes. And if there's pertinent points, we'll stretch a little, but we have some time constraints as we always do.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'll go ahead and start. I really do appreciate you allowing to have one of the committee hearings for non-members of the committee to be able to have a couple of words. I appreciate that. I have been listening to I think just about every one of our legislative committee hearings so far, as well as reading as you guys update the portal, reading through the comments. I guess first I'll say thank you. There's been a lot of the comments from day one. We're only in the 2.5 week of this process. And a lot of the comments from the very beginning, you have been addressing, such as putting some of the more data up on our portals, as well as up on the website, as well as the public comments, having them listed. So I think there's been a lot of things that have been done right here. So I do appreciate that. So I'm just going to jump into a couple of things that from not only the calls that I've been getting from concerned residents in the current 9th Ward, but also looking just at a lot of the comments. You did mention earlier, and one of the things I was going to mention, I've heard from a lot of people in testimony and in public comments about the downtown and downtown west area being combined. That is something that, looking at where I live and looking at, where what might possibly be, someone might be representing me from Ward G, looking at that map, G does seem like it is one ward that is not as contained as a lot of the other ones. And I know that, we talked on the phone about this, and you said, well, if you take a piece out here, then it throws 3 other sections off balance. So I understand that concern. But just looking at that G going from Laclede's Landing all the way down to Carondelet, I think one of the first 2 comments on the public comment portal right now are both concerned about both of them state how they're concerned about Ward G of someone trying to represent downtown, but then also having to get all the way down to Mount Pleasant and the Carondelet area. And I just want to say, as if you look at the current 9th Ward as it sits right now, that's a concern that I have all the time. I live in Benton Park. I'm in a core of the Benton Park, Soulard, Benton Park West area. Those are the areas I'm in every day. And so going way down south into the Mount Pleasant and Carondelet area, it is an area that currently I'm trying to get down there once, twice a week, but I'm just not there as much as I am in the neighborhood I live in. So I think I just want to echo, some of the public comment that's been said about keeping downtown and downtown west together, as well as the first 2 comments on the portal of the concerns of going from Laclede's Landing to Carondelet of being a very long stretch to try to represent. So I know you guys are doing your best. Those are the first 2 things that I wanted to kind of bring up. I'm not sure if Alderwoman from the 20th is going to mention this, but one of the other things that I've heard a lot from my immediate neighbors was just how much work we've, myself, Alderwoman Spencer, have put into kind of the Cherokee area. And so when I look at how G is now, I look at, if you were to combine this downtown with the downtown west area, that population might be able to be moved down into that kind of bottom triangle of what I believe is, let me look on my maps here. What I believe is kind of the end of, I'm not going to guess because I'd be wrong. So the end of H. Yeah. So the bottom part of H, which would be that Bend Park West, Gravoy Park area. So, so my only last thing to say here is that if there were a way to try to get the downtown west area together, that southern part, the Carondelet, Mount Pleasant area into the southern areas, and then that population, I think you could pick up on that bottom part of H with that Bend Park West and Gravoy Park area to then keep that kind of Cherokee Street whole. So thank you for allowing me to say a couple words. I know you guys are working nonstop on this, but I had to take my 5 minutes to give my input. So,
Okay,
yep, thank you. I appreciate it.
look at that. You have time to spare. All right, yeah, and it is, and the problem we have is definitely, and real quick, we're not gonna, yeah, with the lack of population in North St. Louis, with, I believe it's less than almost 81,000 people north of Delmar, and you're coming down the riverfront there, and yes, we're trying to sneak in, and H being one of the African-American majority wards in South St. Louis, those are the things that we're running into. And it's something that we worked today on a lot, and we're still working on it because it's that ripple effect. But no, we're aware of how things look, and that's why we changed what was Ward A up along the riverfront. Going from downtown all the way up to Riverview, and things like that are we're trying to get this all right, and we appreciate your input. These are things we're working on. It is by no means done, and after this meeting, we'll be back with the etch a sketch going at it again. Thank you, Alderman Gunther.
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay, I thank you again, Sharita. We have Alderman Gracia from the 6th Ward. Are you with us?
I'm here. Thank
Okay.
you so much for the
Let
opportunity.
me get my stop clock.
Yeah,
Not that some aldermen tend to talk a lot, not you personally, but we all know a few of them that do. So
every once in a while I have a tendency to ramble on, so I appreciate
you let
that.
me know when you're ready, and I'll start it, and we'll within reason, we'll keep it going. Okay.
I'm ready to go. Thank you so much
Okay.
again for the opportunity for non-committee members to speak. I just wanted to mention a few things. One is that a number of aldermen sent a letter to President Reed, you and the members of the legislation committee a week or so ago, and would just like to reiterate that I think it's very important that a legal analysis of the maps be conducted by the city councilor's office. And since we set aside money at the Board of Aldermen to hire an outside attorney, that we utilize that funding mechanism to hire an attorney who specializes in redistricting to make sure that the final map is something that can withstand a court challenge, and that we've done our due diligence and the best that we could to make sure that these maps are as equitable and fair as possible for the entire city. And also that textual descriptions are able to be reviewed with the final map, because it's even with the high definition maps, which I appreciate you all have worked hard to make sure that we have access to now, it can be difficult to tell, what's across the street or from one thing or another. So the textual descriptions as well. And just wanted to publicly thank all of you. I can't even imagine how much work you've all undertaken and the time you've spent to keep redefining the maps, and I'm very grateful that we were able to work together to work on the numbers and put Tower Grove East into its own neighborhood. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much. And we are, I believe, and we've been discussing this, we're going to wait, getting the legal analysis. We'd like to get to when we have a final version. for them, because anything we change, between then and now, what we are setting it up, I believe our board, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. President, we can spend up to $5,000 without an RFP for legal analysis. And we're planning to do that once we get a final version for them to look at. So yes, that is the plan, but we thought it might be a waste to do it now, because until we have something for them. But that is in the works. And we did put maybe, I don't think you were at the beginning of the meeting, but we do have a textual version of the, we put into a text now for everything that's going on. We had a Mr. Ackerman from the 19th Ward, who is visually impaired, requested we put into a text version because it works better for them. So that is actually up and running at this moment.
Great, I appreciate it. I did log on a few minutes late, and I'm hoping that if we do have to release an RFP to hire an attorney, it just seems like we're dangerously close to the deadline of needing to have a map drawn and the RFP process.
Okay, the RFP process, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. President, we'd be using if we were, taking it to court. Is that more the situation or not?
Yeah.
I'm not the expert on that.
Yeah, so we have funds in the budget for, being able to do a host of things. If we find ourselves in court right away, we will have funds to do that, to get some long-term legal support. We've already had discussions with the city council's office about the best way to proceed with just this small piece that we'd be looking at now, just the legal analysis of the final map. So we plan to do that, but we need a map. We need a final map to do it. So it's kind of chicken or egg thing. So when we finish those things up this week, that'll position us to just do a contract with a law firm to get a quick legal assessment of everything. And then Alderwoman Gracia, I want to thank you. I can't remember who else brought that forward about the Tower Grove East thing, because that was really helpful and it helped us get it on the map and get it done, and working with everybody to get that done. And finally, we've also been working with the Office of the Disabled in the city of St. Louis, and asked them for any kind of other advice beyond just what we're doing for people who are blind. And they are going to give us, any other information that they think would be helpful to make sure that we have things fully accessible for people.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. And you spent only a minute 34 seconds, so we were able to answer your questions with time to spare here. Thank you, Alderwoman Gracia.
I know you're a fan of that, so you're welcome.
I've become doing this map. Compactness has become a word I've been living by lately. So yes. All right, I believe Sharita has next on the list, Alderwoman Rice from the 8th Ward.
All right.
Let me, long time no talk.
Long time no talk.
You let me know when you're ready and we'll start.
Fine. We can go ahead and get started. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, and members of the committee for allowing those of us who are not serving with you on the committee, but are all here very invested in this map to speak with you today. I do want to echo my colleagues' concerns about legal analysis. The city councilor's office, I've had some side conversations with them. They're ready and willing to be here to walk alongside us through this process as well, as we are, we're determining the next future. And I think as we are looking, to fulfill our constitutional requirements here, it's true that we're not quite to the final map yet, but I think their guidance could be really helpful as we're etching out these last, we're smoothing out these last edges and we're rounding things out, trying to make things the most compact possible and make these districts, the most competitive that they're supposed to be, or majority minority, however the districts are in question are being smoothed around the edges. I think that their counsel would be really helpful to have, especially as they're the ones tasked with answering legal questions for the Board of Aldermen, besides our own counsel here. So I would love to have them on at another meeting to kind of walk through, or in these last conversations as these edges are being smoothed around, if we could engage someone from their office. I feel like they're all waiting on the edges of their seats to get involved here too. The city is watching, and we're all really invested here. I do want to say thank you for the move of keeping Tower Grove East whole. That we heard from a lot of constituents and the neighborhood association on that. And Alderwoman Green was also, I think she was the other one you were trying to remember, President Reed, was advocating for that as well. I have heard from some neighbors in Southwest Gardens, and we've discussed this offline in other phone calls as well, but Southwest Garden, the portion that is east of Kings Highway that is interested in potentially staying with the Shaw neighborhood and kind of moving around. And if that can't happen, we will understand why. I'm happy to walk my constituents through why those divisions don't work or where the numbers match up. But I think that's also where it's just so incredibly helpful for us, and would be helpful for the public, to see those kind of things move, and to see that what it does when the numbers shift, and just how many people are in those sections, right? When you move Compton Heights and it's 1,700 people, and what it does to the shift there. And it's really helpful to watch that change happen. So if there is any ability to kind of create even just still images and say, hey, here was this, and this is why it didn't work, we can show you the other map. And with those numbers, that's just something that we can all wrap our heads around. That might be really helpful. Otherwise, I have really appreciated the work of this committee and folks as the map has changed. I have very much appreciated every piece of public input we have gotten. It seems like we're really close. I do know we spoke a little bit earlier about the numbers, that the wards have to be numbered. And so I would love to hear from the committee how you're planning about going the numbering process, because I know we have kept it letters for now, because it will be a determination going forward. And it makes a big difference for folks who are going to be running for 2 years versus 4 years. But just a little bit of clarity on how that process is going to work. And as we're getting down to the wire here, if this committee is being asked to vote on Thursday, there's a lot moving here before we get to next week and potential perfection next week. So however we can just keep that information flowing out is really helpful for all of us. And I know that there's a lot of debate that can still take place on the floor, but obviously the more work that gets done in committee, I think the better for all of us. This is the place to really hash it out and have that conversation. So I think I covered all of my pieces here. Thank you so much.
All right, time to spare. Okay, I think we'll be getting with you after the meeting. We've been crunching things since we talked last about the Southwest Garden situation, and we're working on. I think, Mr. President, maybe the still images might work. We don't, as far as we'll look into that, see if we can have something like that available for them to do. I'm not sure. He's more of the tech guy than I am. If we can get that done, I'll be happy to do that. And as far as numbering the wards, yes, that is something that I don't know. We have some very interesting ideas. The dartboard has been taken out.
Yeah, we'll throw that one out. You can.
We're gonna give every alderman a dart.
Shouldn't it be a bocce ball toss? I feel like that would be more appropriate here. Yeah.
But no, we're trying to get things that so it again, we know what we're up against, and we know that everything has to be showing that we're trying to do everything in the public eye as much as we can, and we have some interesting ideas towards that end. So it's not going to be some secret thing where you wake up one morning and all of a sudden there's numbers showing on the map. This will be done in a very public manner. We're just trying to find the best way to do it, because if you try to do it in a random mode, of which there are many ways to do it, you have to make sure you don't overload one part of the city with a 2-year section and a 4-year section, so it's still equitable. So what we have to do is find a way that we can do some random choosing, but still keep the north side represented properly and the south side. So I mean, what would happen if every alderperson on the north side was up in 2 years and every north in the south side was up in 4 years? You don't want that to happen. So we want to make sure there's a way, and I need to call a bookie is what I need to do, I guess, Makes this
Yeah.
thing work. We're
I-
doing it.
I appreciate that. That's helpful. I mean, and even just looking at the map, numbering from whichever direction, I think
Sure.
you could get those alternating. And
Uh,
I guess
But,
just
yeah, we're trying to keep
yeah.
the politics out of it is the biggest thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the last piece, just if we need to take more time, we do have more time into December. We've got time to do it. So just thank you for the work. And I just don't want to overrush
right.
things if we don't need to.
No, and the numbering, I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. President, our map does not require it to be numbers when we're turning it in to be legal, does it? The numbering is something we can do at any point.
We could do it at any point, but I would.
I would rather get out
We
of the way,
would want
yes.
it to be part of that final board bill. Because
Yes.
then.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely then, but
Yeah,
I'm saying if we, and we, to let people know, whether this comes out Thursday or not, we're scheduling a committee hearing for Monday, just to make sure, because we're not, again, I'm not gonna rush this thing whatsoever. If this gets held up and we have to make another change or two, I'll even try and find a way if we can to get more public input on Saturday and Sunday, or both if necessary. So this is Alderman Davis, as long as she agrees, because my Saturdays are impossible, as our Alderman Boyd's with seniority, if she can handle that. Yeah, no, if we are not able to get this out of committee because we have certain changes that we have to make, we're scheduled. If we could meet, we were working with all the persons last night. I gave up, but let Mr. Shepherd continue up past midnight. But this is something that, there's nothing, we're going to leave the chance here. Okay, you're welcome. All right, I believe with time to spare, we have Alderman Schweitzer coming up. Are you with us?
Yes, thank
Alderman
you.
Schweitzer. Okay, let me know when you're ready and I will start the clock.
I'm ready when you are.
So go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, President Reed, members of the committee. It's such an honor to be here talking about this. This seems like something that has been on the back of our minds for so long, and then the front of our minds, and now it's just here with a vengeance. So it's been a huge project, and I just am so grateful for all the work that's gone into it. As you know, myself and 7 of my colleagues sent a letter in a few weeks ago asking for several things. So I just want to say thank you for the things that have been done. Happy to hear that there's a text file available as of today. That's great. More data has been provided with each additional draft of the map than with the first draft. So again, thank you for that. Very clear that efforts been made to cross the digital divide with people showing up, President Reed showing up to community meetings. I know probably every single one of my colleagues have done the same in the advertisements I heard about yesterday's committee meeting. Thank you for doing all of that. And how much effort has been made to keep neighborhoods together. 2 of the biggest concerns for the people I represent when the first draft came out was Bevo being divided into more neighborhoods. And so it was really great to see the next drafts really looking at Bevo and how it can be divided in a way that is better for the neighborhood. So thank you for that as well. So what is left from that letter to do? We've talked about it a little bit already. Legal analysis of the maps. It is a little bit hard for me to imagine voting and perfecting this map without having legal analysis of whether it's a constitutional map. And I hope that we can have some guidance from the city councilor before those conversations take place, what I believe is scheduled for next week. It's a tight turnaround, but the map, we need to know if it's a constitutional map that we're voting on as early as we possibly can. So I really hope that that can be done for our perfection meetings next week to get that legal opinion. And I appreciate Chairman Vollmer, you saying that there will be time likely for additional public comment before the final map is voted out of the Board of Aldermen. I think that's hugely important. I'm so excited to continue to participate in this process. Thank you so much for letting me talk today. And I think the next conversation, of course, is going to be our staffing and salaries and all those kind of personnel discussions, which I think will be really interesting to participate in as well. I'm certainly rooting for some staff for us, and it was great to see the presentations by Alderwoman Navarro, Martin, and Davis about what might be happening other places and how that could happen here. So looking forward to those to be discussed as well. And I echo Alderman Rice in being interested in what numbers are going, how numbers are going to be chosen going forward. I think we need numbers on this map before we're voting it out of before we are finally passing the map. So thank you so much for your time. I hope I'm under my 5 minutes by quite a lot. It's a competition, it seems. And thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, no, you're under. We're, maybe one day I'm happy Alderman Vaccaro is on the committee. How's that for time? All right. Yeah, we will, again, yeah, the numbering of the wards, it will probably come out of committee without numbers on it, but we'll wait till we get to the full board. But before it's voted on by the full board, we'll have a numbering system in place. I believe that's necessary. It would, and again, we're trying to find the most random way of doing it that will not overload one side of the city, be it north, west, east, or south, you know, or whatever, to make sure that this thing can work equitably for the city. So yeah, thank you very much for your input, and we appreciate all of that. This has been, I've seen Mr. Shepherd and the president more than my wife in the last 3 weeks. All right, we will go on to Alderwoman Peel of the 17th. Alderwoman Peel, are you with us?
Thank you, Chairperson Vollmer and President Reed and members of the committee. I know that you have done a lot of work. And some of my comments are, I thank you for listening to the input from the citizens. And I know, President Reed, you were at the Neighborhood Association meeting yesterday. Thank you. And they learned a lot. And one of the things, one of the residents mentioned, and you have now stated, is that they would like to have Kings Oak part of Ward F. So thank you for listening to that and many other comments. A comment I would like to make, and again, a resident also talked about this, is that we may be able to bridge the Delmar divide. And another way we could do that in terms of where I'm placed at this point in time would be to see if we could go north into Fountain Park or Lewis Place. That might be an opportunity. And take the Kings Highway to Union, Lindell to Delmar, that little square currently in F, and take that out of what is currently F. That might make the numbers, you know, I know it's all about numbers too, but that would be a suggestion in terms of being able to, again, another way to bridge the Delmar divide, take out Kings Highway to Union, Lindell to Delmar, and then again, it would be.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I'm trying to write fast. You say take out Kings Highway.
Or is it Union? Let's see.
I tell you, in the interest of time right now.
Oh, don't worry about it. We'll call you.
We'll get with you after.
We'll call you afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna put that into an email for us and get it to us? That way we have the textual version, what we want to see.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to give us some time back since I butted in.
No, please continue. I stopped over to no worries.
No problem.
I stopped, Mr. President.
No problem.
Go ahead.
Those are the comments I have regarding the map. And then another thing is trying to get downtown west to be one ward and not two wards at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much. And
okay.
That's it, back to you.
All right. No, thank you. Yeah, believe me, since day one, the downtown west situation's been, you know, actively looked at. We are still trying to figure out a way to do that. And if you could, please email myself, either myself or President Reed, in regard to those exact things you're talking about at the Kings Highway Union and all that, so we can actually take that and we'll get it looked at and see if anything's possible to do there, making the numbers work. Okay. With that, Alderman Page, are you with us, sir?
I am, and thank you very much. By the way, I'll be brief. You won't even need your timer.
I've heard that before.
Yes. First and foremost, I really want to thank this committee, the Legislation Committee, for the work that it's done. I will repeat that appreciation, and also to President Reed and his team I think they've done yeoman's work. You all have in putting this together, especially within the time that you've had to do it. Just a couple of quick points. I've paid very close attention, as you probably have noted from my one-on-ones with the team. I've paid very close attention, and drafts 1, 2, 3, and 4, each successive map has, as I've told you, has fixed more than it has broken. From my perspective, I'm very pleased at the increasing compactness that I've seen from my perspective. I've talked with a number of my constituents, and they are very happy with the compactness that has been drawn into my neck of the woods, as it were. I'm very happy about the public input that has gone into this. I have physically seen some of my constituents' input drawn into the map, as well as some of my own. So that is extremely encouraging that we're going to have a good product in the end. One of the things I will repeat, because I've heard it from numerous of my constituents, and we've heard it here today, a lot of people are asking to have downtown and downtown west, including Laclede Landing, drawn into one ward. Now, it would have to be greater than, have to be a larger ward than just those boundaries in order to get the populations right and the like. But I've heard that from many constituents, so I felt a fiduciary responsibility to share that in this public forum. But the work that has been done so far, it has been marvelous. So thank you for that. I also wanted to thank President Reed. I invited him to give a presentation to the St. Louis Downtown Neighborhood Association, and he graciously did that. I've made detailed presentations to the Old North Restoration Group. I put every single public input opportunity and flyer on my Facebook page. So we've been doing everything we can, even not as members of the committee, to get the word out and get people engaged. Finally, keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, 2 minutes and 6 seconds of spare. Good job. All right.
I told you you wouldn't need the timer.
All right. No, thank you. And again, as I said before, at the outset of this meeting, and it is a very complex situation with downtown west because of the population, and then we get into the racial makeup. So it is what we've been trying to do, I guess. We started north with neighborhoods, and we've been working our way, trying to get that population to equitable and to cross, as we have with 3 Black majority wards crossing the Delmar Divide currently. And then with the 2 wards in South St. Louis that are Black majority, that we have to keep this 7 and 7 going, to keep our numbers, and then the compactness. We are trying every iteration that we can, and I appreciate all the time you guys are taking and all the interest you are taking. So
Chair Vollmer, may I add an addendum since I
Yes.
didn't go over time?
Certainly, sir.
Even though I felt a fiduciary responsibility to share my constituents' wish for downtown as one ward, I will say from my perspective, representation by 2 older people versus the current 4 is a tremendous improvement and a step in the right direction.
Yes, we've attempted the 1. There's a good chance it could end. It's with 2, and trying to make it completely whole. We'll keep cracking at it. We're not giving up yet. So thank you, sir. Okay, Alderwoman Spencer, we've deferred your seniority to the last. Are you with us still? I see her up there. Is there any other older people besides Alderwoman Spencer, Sharita, left to speak?
I think that is all of the 9 committee members.
Okay. Okay, we'll give her a couple minutes to get here. President Reed, is there anything you'd like to add before we?
No, I think I think one of the things we should think about when we're determining the best way to select the ward numbers, maybe that's one of those things that we throw out to the whole board, to gather some ideas. Because as the chairman spoke about at the beginning, we've been looking at this, but if we did a complete random selection, you could very well end up with half the wards on one side of the city all getting the odd numbers and the other side of the city getting the even numbers, right? So we're still working through some ideas, but any information any of you all will have would be very helpful. And it's also my understanding that the chairman's going to throw it out to the committee here shortly and for any discussion. So I'm sure that'll generate some additional ideas about the best way to do it. But we want it to be as random as possible and as open as possible so that there's no doubt that it is a fair process, right? And we think that is absolutely critical to be able to do that.
And we're, as you can tell through this whole process, we're open to suggestions. So not just the members of the board, but any of the general public. That's why the portal's there. If maybe there's someone out there who's had to do this for some organization or something somewhere that we're not aware of, we've been trying to research it and see if there's an equitable way to do this. If you do something as random as pulling out of a hat, is there a percentage where you do this, do that, throw it back in? I don't know, but we're studying the situation because it's quite an important, very integral part of this whole process. With the fact, because if everyone was running for 4-year terms, it'd be no big deal, but 2-year, 4-year, and trying to we need to make sure that it is equal across the board, across the city.
And Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for coming up with the idea of putting the letters on, because we were trying to think of it in the beginning. We were like, how do we begin this, but not show bias going into it? So that was a good idea. Now the next thing is, how do we get one step beyond your original idea?
Yeah, we're trying to keep the conspiracy theories out of this, but we're working on it. So let's go ahead. Alderman Spencer, have you joined us yet? Okay, I'm just trying to see.
If I have a quick moment, I just want to just really thank all the members of the board. You all have been phenomenal to work with. And some of you have heard me talk about, that fact in some of your neighborhood and community meetings as I've gone around. But you all are in a situation where you're essentially are being tasked with drawing a map and then voting on something that could end up, ending your political career. And that is by no means something that's easy to do. And I want you to know that I've been pushing the word, and I think it's important for people to understand how difficult that is. But this board has stepped up, and this board has engaged. And for those of you who have not been in the meetings with the others, I just want to tell you, all your colleagues, when they've come to the table, they've been like, oh yeah, let's figure this out. What can we do for the betterment of the community? This is what my neighborhood wants and would like to see. This, what my community is asking for. And if we can make it happen, cool. If we cannot, then let me understand the logic behind that. And when we walk through it, every single one of you is like, I got it, I understand. That is not what's typical, and that's certainly not what people are expecting from this process. But I got to tell you, I am just overtaken with the level of I don't want to say professionalism, but the way that you all have really stepped up and put the community before yourselves through this process. So I want to tell y'all thank you from me. And I can tell you, this is not what I expected. All right, because you think people are going to resort just to their natural instincts of just being about themselves, but you all have not done that. And wow, right? So you all deserve a big round of applause for that. And
all right.
geez,
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay, I don't have much to add, other than that we will be meeting tomorrow at 11. We'll be working on this. Alderman Rice, I'll probably be getting with you after the meeting. I'm hoping for good news, but we're trying to find out what we can do. And after that, then we're gonna dig back into downtown west, once we move on to that. Because that seems, as it has been since day one, the big thing. Alderman Spencer, have you joined us again yet? Hearing no answer, I believe that will conclude us. Again, I appreciate all the time and effort from the members of the committee, and especially the time and effort from the non-committee members today. And please don't hesitate if something comes up that you get a wonderful idea, please let it go and give it to us. Okay, at that point, we'll excuse the absent alderman for necessary absence. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn till tomorrow, Thursday, the 18th at 11 a.m.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn tomorrow.
Second. Okay, with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Enjoy your Wednesday night. Thank you very much, folks. Goodbye.
Thank you.